What's going on, YouTube? Yes, hurrah indeed, phone. Today, we are doing another Heroes in Training series video. This is a series to try to help people that are at least a minion tier or above member here on YouTube for them to give me a clip of their game, and I could kind of tell them what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong, and give them insight on like the game sense, fighting mechanics, ganking, and just trying to help them become a smarter and not harder player in Dominion. Today we have Mr. Teldrin again, who has gone ahead and sent me another clip, this time of his Zhanhu. He keeps showing me different heroes, which I'm not like super glad about, because I feel like when you're trying to work on your mechanics of the game and your game sense of the game, it's really good for you to have a certain hero that you're comfortable with, that you've been playing for a while, and that you're more comfortable in, so that I can not have so many variables in trying to help them out in, trying to make them play better. But ooh, I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and we're going to see exactly what's going on with this Zhanhu and try to help them out. And we do have the big cursor here, so I will be able to point out small little things during gameplay. So it looks like he's jumping in mid-game. I don't know. Let's see. Yep, he's jumping in mid-game. And he's currently triple capped at the moment. Really quick, I just want to go back really fast while he has that menu up. So we have a Nobu, a Conqueror, and him as Zhanhu. I don't know who that other person is. On his team, enemy team has two Highlanders and a Black Prior, who look like they're fighting on C currently at the moment. He definitely should be going over to help clear out B, but we did hear the Nobu there earlier, so it looks like she was going over to clear out the mid lane. So it's good that he at least saw that the Nobu was going to clear out mid, so he went to go take care of A. Even though he's kind of the better minion lane clearer at this time. And right now they're down a good chunk, but it's not horrible. And with them taking B and A is perfectly fine. Now in this regard as well, because you are playing on high fort, C is usually the point where everyone fights for. A is a point to have as like a safety net. So it is good that he grabs A and jumps off of it to immediately run down to B and see how he can help in the mid lane. In these certain situations, if you see that the whole enemy team is on B, like while you're at A, because you should be looking at B to see what's going on prior to. If you see there's like one of your teammates there with 3 of the enemy there, don't go to B, just sit on A to steal points, to cap points, because you're going to want to keep this lead going. Otherwise, you go down, like if it's a one-on-one, go ahead and down there, help out, clear out minions, push the minions behind the enemy so that he's taking chip damage while they're fighting, and help out in the gank. So that is one thing I did not see him do. Although the Nobu is still here clearing. I think he was thinking about what to do there, and he decided he was having a hard time figuring out, should I help clear out on B or go fight? But now this Nobu is coming like with him to help fight, so we'll see how his team fighting has improved. Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with this guy, with this Highlander. Now, if he let that rip, he would have been golden. Now, that's just him not having... I don't think he has enough confidence with this hero. Not yet, at least. So it's not horrible, but it's... could be worked on. So it is 2 Black Priors. And it looks like we have another teammate, which is a Gladiator. With this team composition, you know, Highlander, Black Priors, you're going to have a whole team that's looking to try to crush and counter. So you should be using your bash a lot more, using your neutral heavy a lot more to try to make sure that they're not trying to like crush and counter your lights, and easily feint your neutral heavy so you can get an easy light parry. That's one thing you want to look for, especially in that composition of that sort. Your Gladiator is a very good ganker, and same thing with your Nobu. So as long as your Conqueror is able to keep up defensive wise, Nobu is able to help clear out mini lane with Zhanhu, and Gladiators are able to help out in the fight, I would give the edge towards his team in that regard. Although Highlander is kind of, you know, everyone finds that he's pretty busted at the moment, but he still does okay. But it also depends on how they play, and from how we saw that Highlander play earlier, they are very, very low tier skilled with the Highlander. So now we're gonna see exactly what's going on with this fight. Looks like the Black Priors are just memeing. Now see right there, perfect. He already saw that they're like trying to do their flip memes and shit, and he was able to immediately counter, like guard break the BP as he preemptively went for a flip. Perfect sense in that regard. Now right there, you should know that you already have your Conqueror there throwing out attacks. You shouldn't be swinging at this guy, not for a while. Because he decided that he was going to take, you know, he was going to add a tag and start slamming his unblockables, unlocking to this Black Prior so that his unblockables always land as long as the Black Prior isn't trying to flip. And that small little zone wasn't going to kill that guy, so it just ended up giving him his revenge. So just got to be a little careful with how you fight and not being so aggressive in certain portions, but being aggressive when you know you can. You lost zone A. A little too early on that grab. But again, nice that he notices it. That was bad on the Conqueror, but as long as they were able to stay alive, they're perfectly fine. Nice light parry. Now, in that regard right there, right at that very moment of him dying right here, you have to notice that this Conqueror is sitting here, so you have to get ready for him to crush and counter light right here. So it's one of those attacks where if you notice that this guy is not playing very well, he's just going to try to do the bare minimum to keep himself defended. Be ready for that crushing, that light parry. And he was throwing out a random heavy there, so it wasn't, I think he was just trying to help out his teammate. But in that regard, because you're attacking the Conqueror from his right, you should be throwing out light rights or attacks from the right. Just because your Conqueror is going to be here to his left, he's going to be looking to attack, so you're looking to parry left, attack from your right whenever you're ganking in this type of situation. But at least he's doing okay, but he's still far behind in points wise since he came in late in game. And this Conqueror is just being absolute Chad, just doing what he can to keep alive on C. Surprised a teammate has not come over here besides him. Ooh. Now, this is a problem that I have seen from Mr. Teldrin quite a bit. And what ends up happening is he tends to really love to go for light parries. And this is immediately what happened right here. You can immediately see it. So he gets guard broken. and then he went for that parry for the light and ended up taking that heavy straight to the face. In this regard, when you came up, you should have definitely, you know, used your dodge, like your running attack, because you saw that he was healing. That's your best way to stop him from, you know, getting more teammates, and being able to just keep your defense up, not going for parries, just keeping your block up, making sure you're not getting counter guard broken until a teammate gets there. We can already see that the teammates are not coming, and it's really just you and the Conqueror here on C. And you know that the two Black Priors are memeing since when you first went there, that they were like emoting your teammate that you were walking up to fight with. At that portion, you should just say, okay, C is lost, because you are only going to have you and the Conqueror there unless both of you are walking together to go into that fight. But being able to make sure you keep B and protect A, you can win this game very, very easily. 1,000 to about 550, 560. But just coming over here to see ends up just giving them more renown, so they have more feats. You should be learning, you should be keeping up your farm because you're so far behind. And a field of view of all the way up to 90 is very, very large. I would keep yours at least 85 or 80 just to give yourself a little bit of tighter view, but whenever you're in a team fight, you don't lose the indicators while you're fighting. And yes, you do have quality on here. I would switch this over to performance, since performance will actually, you know, help you out with keeping your frames up to par. So whenever you are light parrying, you're going to be, you know, able to do it a little bit better. Quality just adds extra shaders and shit like that that are in game that are going to hinder some of your situations. So if you don't know what that is, that field of view is how wide your view is whenever you are in the middle of a fight, either in duel or in a team fight. So the Conqueror ended up waiting for him to go to C, but they all left the point to go fight B, and now both of you guys walked up here for no reason.
You lost Zone A.
Now instead of the emotes, you already have one teammate that's sitting there just getting beat the shit out of. Either help him, go back, you know, go back to C to make sure that's okay. Now also in this regard as well, whenever you are in this fight right here and you're looking for that BP flip, you shouldn't always be looking to try to guard break immediately, especially if you're heavy hit, since it pushes him back so far. And the only weapon that will really hit is your weapon, unless he throws like a heavy. But beforehand, there was a part of that fight where in the very beginning of the fight, here, you're looking to immediately guard break this guy. He's already looking at this one, trying to wait for an attack. You're going to leave yourself wide open. You should have been attacking this guy, peeling at least one teammate off of the fight, and at least he could deal with the 2v1. But this is what I was talking about right here. So you went ahead and immediately feinted and went for the guard break. If you think that they're going to be flipping, because they have been flipping, like on prediction, because of how fast that they were doing it at C point, you can actually wait a second from the feint and then see what they're going to do in that regard, so that you're not whiffing your guard breaks. At least he didn't try to go for the light parry that time, so that's good. Now, in that regard as well, earlier when you went for your bash here, Now you had there, and then you went ahead and you dodged forward and you delayed that bash quite a bit. You got to realize if you're dodging immediately, you shouldn't be hitting that bash thing unless they've already dodged out of the way. Especially if you're delaying it that long, hoping that they're going to, you know, dodge early or not dodge at all. But when they're not dodging at all, it gives them that opportunity to delay that that delay bash. But yeah, that Black Prior is literally just sitting there baiting for you to throw an attack so that he can counter you. So just be careful in that regard. BPs are harder in that sense, since they could, you know, attack almost on reaction to red. So let's see, the Nobu stopped for a second, but she ended up still going over to C. You should immediately be going, oh, now you have B and A gone. You should be clearing out B to get your feet up. Yep. What are you doing? Yep, clear that B. Now, if he was farming a little bit more with these minions, he definitely would have had that Nukikube, which definitely would help him out with quickly farming the points. But at least they got C. They were able to win that team fight. I would have pushed a little bit further up on B to make sure all the minions are clear, to make sure that they're breaking.
Enemy team is breaking.
And so that they don't have extra minions to, like, push up once they get there to try to clear out minion lane. So we kind of did the same exact thing, just with extra steps, and those extra steps can hurt you in the long run. Nice dodge. And again, when you are dead, you should be looking at seeing what's going on in the team fight, looking around the map to see what's going on with what's going on currently at the moment, seeing exactly what his health is at, which he's already at full health and he'll get there by the time you're up and running. But again, it's just these small things. A lot of the death timers, you want to make sure you're able to keep up with everyone. Now, it is nice the Gladiator did go over to make sure that they're not going to have you guys break, because you guys are running into team fights that are just constantly dying, so he's going to grab A before you guys fully break out.
Your team rallied.
Nice. Nice feint. Oof. Getting a little too attack hungry there.
Lost Zone C.
Just giving that guy all the priority to go ahead and constantly go in. And now, even after all that work, now you're back down to where you were before. But at least that was a really smart play on that Gladiator. At that point, when you guys were breaking, I would have just said fuck it and went down to B and just made sure B was cleared up. But I guess one of your guys used their feet to clear out the minion lane, so it's not too bad. And a good wait on that Conqueror. The Conqueror waited at that moment to end up with that final hit. A lot of people see that as like team killing, but as long as you're able to make sure that your attack is confirmed, you're perfectly fine. So again, the game sense is somewhat there. Like I said, in those certain running over to C, You should be keeping up to date with what's going on in your team fights. Like the immediate, like, two black priors sitting there, and you can hear them both doing the little, yeah, fucking emote. You can kind of tell they're kind of like, being silly and memeing at that moment with the double flips. The one Highlander that was just sitting there throwing out lights, it was the most was the unskilled Highlander. The other one was the skilled Highlander that was sitting there and making sure that his attacks were landing with the other Black Prior quite a few times in those matches. So in that regard as well, understanding, okay, that Highlander sucks, that Highlander is good, the Black Priors are memeing, and understanding that is a big understanding in the team fight. Because at that fight at sea, that last fight that ended up having them unbreak, you realize, okay, they have their teammates there. You should be stopping yourself and playing more defensive and kind of turtling to help your teammates respawn up, because you're already there. You've kind of stuck yourself there, and you really don't have a place to go back and heal without them getting more points. So again, it's very small things. These weren't as bad because it felt like a very memey lobby. But when it comes down to it, because for those who don't know, Mr. Teldrin has come into my streams a lot, which we stream on Twitch Wednesday to Monday, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he has come in, and sometimes I do get a little upset at him because it's a lot of like game sense at a higher level of lobby, and understanding, like, seeing the small little things and having them stuck in the back of your head. I know that he has a harder time keeping those smaller things in the back of his head. So I understand what's happening here. It's just a little bit more focus that's needed to make sure you're making those smarter plays. So, like I said again, the fights, they were easily distinguishable, and you could easily pick, okay, who do I have to worry about? Who do I not have to worry about? That small portion, the first grab on A to check out on what's happening on B from that window view, is a big thing to understand if you need to sit on A for points or to farm. Going to mini lane a little bit more to make sure you're getting your points, because he was in constant fight, so he didn't get a lot of his feet faster. Because you are playing from behind as, a reinforcement rather than someone who started the fight off. But nonetheless, he's getting better, slowly but surely, at his game sense. His game mechanics, I've been telling him he needs to block a lot more and not always go for light parries every single time, because he ends up getting guard broken quite a few times. It has, from this game, he didn't get guard broken too much, but he was doing a lot of guard breaking, which was ending up him getting guard broken. But his defense has definitely gotten quite a bit better, not always going for those light parries. So again, everyone, I will see you in the next one next month.